Hi everybody, and welcome back to another weekly market review for F45 trading. Sorry for the delay getting this one out this week. I had actually had a new computer build that I did last week. Finally got everything up and running, but I realized the mic that I had wasn't sufficient. I wasn't getting the sound through, so I had to wait for a new one to be delivered, and I just got it here earlier today. Got it set up, and hopefully it's working fine. So if there's any sound issues with this, please make sure you shoot it into the comments here on the YouTube video and let me know, and I can make adjustments. So I would appreciate that feedback from you guys. Okay, looking at the markets. So let's just check out the economic calendar for the week to start off. It's going to be pretty slow to start the week, which is obviously another reason why I wasn't in a huge panic to get this video out. We had several bank holidays today that obviously, you know, isn't going to make a whole lot of movement. Excuse me, movement in the markets. So we are kind of sitting sideways, which I'll show you here in a minute. But we do have, or we did, excuse me, have some monetary policy report hearings for cable. And I'll talk about that here in a second. And then we have, going into tomorrow, some high-impact news events for the New Zealand dollar, if you are trading the NZD. I won't be reviewing that today, and I apologize. I forgot to take that off of my list here. There we go. That's a little bit better. Sorry about that, guys. That shortens the list up. So, again, so we got some high-impact news events for the Kiwi. So if you are trading the New Zealand dollar or any cross pairs with that, just make sure you're aware of that. Tuesday, pretty quiet day with CB consumer confidence for the dollar and German IFO business climate. Apologies. I'm tickling my throat. US dollar, we've got crude inventories Wednesday, and then again Thursday we have prelim GDP, unemployment claims for the dollar. So looks like everyone's starting to slowly get back to work in the US as all those vaccinations are rolling out the door here. So they're a little more optimistic on the numbers. So I think we're probably hopefully have seen the worst is behind us anyway with that. So we'll see how that looks. And then we've got pending home sales wrapping up on Friday with core PCE numbers. So all in all, it's going to be a pretty quiet week. I can't see any landmines that's going to throw things off of off tilter or anything like that. It is May 24th, of course, for the week of till the 28th. So just when you're just keep in mind, it is the last week of trading, and the next week is non-farm news coming out. So just as a heads up there. Let's get into the dollar. So I haven't had a chance yet because this is all, I had to re-download all of my software and programs onto my new system here. So I'm just have to go in. As you can see, Euro and all of these guys, they don't have any chart markings. I marked up the dollar here real quick. I'm still looking for lower prices. We had a little bit of a dip below this old low here last Friday, and then price really didn't want to go anywhere. And then starting out today, which is not surprising today because, again, there is so many bank holidays where we're just going to get an inside trading range today. At the time of this recording, you can see it's about 11 o'clock my local time, and well into the afternoon in New York New York trading range. So everyone in London has gone home for the day, and this is pretty much the daily range that we're going to get. So hopefully we'll get a little expansion out of this area that we're in for the week, but there's not a lot to talk about at the moment. Pardon me. Until we start breaking out of this range here. So keep that in mind. This week, folks, it's you know, consolidation trading until we break out of here. Now, the problem that I see this whole last range, so this whole area in here, certainly a couple of nice trending down days, but for the most part, if you look at what we've got, it's just been really sideways price action. Very, very difficult to trade. And I know I've talked with a lot of traders, and myself included in this mix as well too. It's not the clearest defined price action that you would like to normally see. This range in here at the start off the year was great. Great ranges in there, lots of great opportunities. And as soon as price kind of got into this, more so this range right here towards the end of April, it's been a little bit more difficult to navigate. So definitely, if you guys are struggling a little bit this month, you know, don't beat yourself up. It's not like it's super easy trading when it gets into these tight little ranges. So, and you can see that kind of goes across the board for EurUsd. Although we did see the highs that I was telling you guys about, still waiting to see this last high in here. Or excuse me, we did just peak above that old high here, but I'm waiting for a significant move higher on this one, and ultimately I'd like to get up into here. But for now, like you can see, it's just really, really tight trading all across the board. GbpUsd did fail to get above that high. Aussie's really going nowhere. We're just kind of sitting sideways. Again, this old high up here would be the ultimate target going forward. And USCAD has been dropping nicely, and we do have some ranges. You got to go way back on USCAD. One final range here to the downside that I'm waiting to see if price wants to push its way down and through. So far, we're having a little bit of hesitation in here on the daily chart. But if we do ultimately see the move lower on US dollar, then it should take USCAD along with it. Now, just keep this in mind. We've had a decline now since on the US dollar since March 31st of this year. There is a lot of talk and a lot of grumblings about possibly raising the interest rates. When the Fed raises the interest rates, it will typically strengthen the dollar. All it does is it decreases the amount, it increases the amount it costs to borrow money, obviously by raising the rates. We all know that. Typically, it constrains a lot of new loans, and from people and businesses getting new loans because of the higher rates. Thereby, it starts taking some of the credit, I guess, or money out of circulation, which means dollars become scarcer, which means demand starts to go up, which will in turn eventually start to move this forward. Now, we all know that monetary policy has changed a lot of things, and the printing and overprinting of money supplies is obviously an issue. So take what I just said previously with a grain of salt. Typically in the past, when the Fed comes in and raises interest rates, it strengthens the currency and you see prices go higher. With all this excess printing, though, I don't know if they can raise interest rates enough to get any life back in this dollar. So we'll have to wait and see. It could be a little bit touch and go. We are coming into summer months trading as well, folks. So just keep that in mind. You know, we could see a lot of sideways price action going forward for the next couple of months. So don't be surprised. And again, you know, try to keep your trades tight and small, and don't beat yourself up too much if you're getting knocked around in the markets a little bit, because it's not an easy thing to navigate at the moment. So going forward this week, what I would like to see, and we don't have any major news events, so I'm not anticipating high volatility where we're going to see lots of whipsaw or anything like that. We've got a high here. If we break this high here, then I think the US dollar is going to run up to the, whoops, that's a little small, 90.60 level is kind of what I'm thinking. We'll probably end up seeing a price run up into. Thereabouts. Basically a move back up in here, if this high there gets breached. What I'd like to see is price just roll over from here and make a new low. And then ultimately we come down, pardon me, and sweep down to the 89.15 level and beyond. That's what I would like to see on US dollar. Again, we've got some major lows over here. We're starting to really dip into that now. So I think once we start diving lower, this low here is just going to be a bump on the road, and then ultimately we could start to see ourselves trading below here. That's what I'd like to see happen. If there is more talk of raising interest rates, which right now they're not suggesting that we're going to see anything happen until later this year, if anything later this year. So we could certainly, excuse me, what's wrong with my throat today? We should certainly see price decline for the next few months at the very least, until they decide to kind of creep up towards that or hint a little bit more about those interest rates decisions. So I'm looking for lower prices. EurUsd, that ultimately would mean higher prices. I want to see price trading up and above this high up here, you know, going forward into next month. That comes in obviously at 123.50s. So we're currently 122.10s. So I mean, we could see easily another 100 to 200 pips higher on Euro USD. What I don't want to see, though, again, which is possible, but I don't want to see on the US dollar, as I mentioned here, I'd like to see them stay below this line here. If we do start to creep up above that, obviously that's going to push Euro USD below this consolidation here and back down into this range there. I don't want to see that. I'd like to see them keep prices elevated and stay above this range right here. So as long as we stay above there, I think we're probably going to be up into this range, maybe even up here for the end of the week. That would be the best case scenario. GbpUsd, this target up here, it's still valid. Euro took it. Now I'm waiting for cable to run it. So, you know, 142.40 is the high. We're about 100 pips below that. Price should shoot up, you know, 20 to, you know, call it 50 pips above that level there and up into this range. And ultimately, if you look way back here, we've got some higher levels way back in there that would be next on the line, excuse me, next on the target list if we get some of that upward momentum. But keep in mind, if we see a dip in the dollar, you know, we could be trading all the way back. You see all these highs back in here? I'll just put that in as a generic reference right there for now. But if I can get a straight line. Sorry, guys. I'm probably getting a straight line there. All these highs in here, if we jump up here and immediately reject, I'd be expecting them to probably return back down to there. A couple hundred pips lower on cable, which, yeah, it can do in you know, no time flat. Really, these guys in here is what I'd be looking at. If we pop above and reject and then go lower, we'll see what happens. I think higher prices will ensue, though, for cable. As the dollar drops, it should continue to propel foreign currency higher. Now, with the exception of Aussie, now, and I say that with the exception for now, because Aussie has really been in a very, very tight range. So you can see Euro's been running, GBP has been running, GbpUsd has been running. Aussie's been going nowhere, really nowhere since last year. And the high came in, you know, I mean, yes, we have a high up into here, of course, so I guess that would be considered as the range. But where the stagnation here has started was basically in January 6th, right into here. So we have really the past 5 months of trading that's been pretty sideways on Aussie. So very surprising to see. With the weakness in dollar, I would have anticipated a little more movement higher on Aussie. We're not getting that yet, so I'm not super pleased with the way this is panning out. So I'm honestly not too sure what we're going to get on Aussie. We'd need to break above this high here and significantly get above here before I'd be targeting up there. I don't know what they're doing yet. They're consolidating it, and I think we're going to get a very, very sizable move going forward. Hopefully it's to the upside. I'd like to ultimately see them above these equal highs up way up here before the end of the year. So we'll see if we can get that. You can see that there. That's the start of the year right there. We've just been consolidating basically for the bulk of this year. When you consider the range that it made last year, it's really gone absolutely nowhere. UsCad, on the other hand, has dropped below. As I mentioned, we've had a nice run down. The last couple of weeks, 3 weeks or so, we've really seen a push lower. And now we're just kind of sitting sideways. So, again, we've got these old lows way back in here. Do we dip below those and start to get under there for next month? That's where I'd hope price would go, but we'll have to wait and see. I think if the dollar, or excuse me, if UsCad stays below these lows in here, then we'll probably see it propel lower. But if not, then we could see a run back up to this consolidation level in here. Maybe even a run back up to these lows here if they really want to put a sizable retracement in. So I wish I could give you guys a little bit more, you know, this is exactly what it's going to do. It's definitely going to go here like I normally do. It's definitely going to go there. So I can forecast this a little bit better for you. I think we're probably going to continue lower. But as we're just sitting in these ranges right now, it makes it a little bit tough to sort of navigate that through. So I'm hoping by next week we'll have a little bit more to say to you guys, other than just, you know, it's consolidating. We're going to have to sit and wait. But that's it for Forex. So going into crude oil, again, another market that really hasn't made a whole lot of headway. We have had a nice little run higher into here, and price just kind of fell off of a cliff last week and closed about $4 or $5 lower the last 3 days. Friday made up a little bit of that gain, and now Monday is really shooting out of the gates. So I like to see that. What I don't want to see, though, is them just to continue price higher. I'd like to see if we could get a little bit of a retracement and see if we couldn't trade back down to the 64.75, maybe the 65 level, somewhere in and around here, and then possibly see price move to the upside from there. That's what I'd like to see. Energy markets, though, very, very tough to call right now as well, too. They are historically coming off of their highs, or they should be anyway, but we've never been in these situations before with obviously everything going on globally with the demand and or the lack of demand, I should say, and everything else going on, and now we're slowly starting to recover. But, you know, you look at India right now, and they're getting hammered right now, so it's obviously putting a big stint into their production capabilities over there and their demand for energy. You know, China's online, and it looks like they're pushing forward. The U.S. is finally just starting to come back online as well, too, so we're hoping to see demand's going to start kicking up. The summer months are coming, and, you know, summer holidays are starting to ensue, and whatever that looks like for you around the globe, it's going to be different, of course, but I don't necessarily think energy prices are still out of the woods yet. They managed to really rally, considering what happened, you know, this time last year, but we're still not out of the woods yet. So we'll have to kind of wait and see how this one pans out. But I would like to see this a decline. You know, I would even suggest maybe even down to this consolidation area in here, where price could drop down into. You know, maybe move back down to about 64.20 even on the daily, and then see if we can't surge above this high and that high there. So, and finally, gold and silver have had a nice little rally. So as the US dollar has been declining, these two metals have been moving up fairly decently, with the especially gold has really been moving higher. Now, the ultimate question is, are we going to get up into this range, up into here? That's what I'm waiting to see. If the US dollar continues to decline, then we could see that big push and that big surge forward. You know, the ultimate high is way up in here, obviously, at, you know, 2,000 on gold. But, you know, we got a lot of area in there to cover before we get up into there. So far, we've had a nice run. And don't forget, and I keep sounding like a broken record, but these equal lows in here are definitely a concern. If the US dollar shifts in momentum and we do get higher interest rates and they decide to strengthen the dollar, I think that's going to be the target for gold going forward, to be honest with you. But I want to see what happens, to be honest with you, right in this range here. I think if we can get price above 18, or I guess call it 1900 on gold, then I think maybe this high and that high could get taken out. As long as we don't see them do a significant drop and we stay above this low rate in there, we should continue to see higher prices on gold. So I'll be watching for that. And last week, look at last week's trading. This was last week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And this is now Monday again. We had a little bit of a surge on Monday, but price went absolutely nowhere for the rest of the week. Sideways trading, and that's just kind of what we're getting right now. So, again, take it easy, folks, because really there's not a whole ton to talk about. We're going into the summer months. It's typically starting to kind of wind down a little bit on the markets. So, you know, if you can get in and get out with a couple of scalps here and there for the week, I would take that. Enjoy the rest of your time. I'll be back to do another weekly review, of course, as always, next week to help guide you through all of this. And if you have any questions, by all means, please shoot them up into the comments below. Do me a favor, like the video as well. That would really help me out a lot. And if you liked it, and I hope you guys have a great week. And for all my members, of course, I will talk to you in the chat room tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great day.